My sister gave away our late mom's jewelry to her friends because I never wore them. When she couldn't pay rent, she asked me to pawn mine too. I sent her a picture of the empty jewelry box and a screenshot of my block button. The necklace was in a selfie caption, "Thanks for the bling, babe." And I recognized it immediately because mom wore it to every single holiday dinner for 20 years. I zoomed in and saw the little chip on the clasp that happened when I was 12 and knocked it off her dresser. I called my sister and she answered like nothing was wrong. "Oh my God, you're so dramatic," she said when I asked her what the hell happened to mom's jewelry. "You never even wore any of it. It was just sitting in that box collecting dust. That's not yours to decide." "Well, I needed money and you clearly didn't care about it." I literally couldn't speak for a few seconds. Mom died 2 years ago and left both of us specific pieces. My sister got the diamond earrings, the gold bracelet, and mom's wedding ring. I got the sapphire necklace, the pearl set, and this vintage brooch that belonged to our grandmother. But mom also had this collection of everyday jewelry that she said we should share and decide together what to do with. I kept everything in the original jewelry box at my apartment because I wasn't ready to go through it yet. My sister had a key to my place because she was supposed to water my plants when I went on a work trip last month. "You went into my apartment and took mom's jewelry box?" "I borrowed some pieces. And then my friends really loved them, so I just sold a few things." "You're always talking about how you don't wear jewelry anyway." She sold 18 pieces. I know because I went home and counted what was left. The sapphire necklace, 3 pairs of mom's everyday earrings, 2 bracelets, a couple rings, and a bunch of other stuff. Gone. "I need that money back," I told her. "Or I'm filing a police report." "Are you insane? I'm your sister. And you stole from me." She hung up. Then she blocked me on everything. I called our aunt, who basically raised us after Dad left, and told her what happened. She tried to play peacemaker at first, but when I sent her the Instagram photo she got quiet. "I'll talk to her," our aunt said. I filed the police report anyway. The officer said it would be hard to prove theft since she had a key and we're family, but he took down all the information and said I could pursue it in civil court. 3 weeks went by. My sister unblocked me long enough to send a huge text about how I'm destroying our family over some old jewelry and how mom would be ashamed of me. Then she blocked me again. 2 months later, my sister calls me at 11 at night. "I need help," she says. No hello, no apology. "With what?" "My rent is due tomorrow and I'm short $800. The wedding cost more than we planned and my fiancé's hours got cut and we're just in a bad spot right now." I waited. "So I was thinking, you could pawn some of that jewelry. Like the pearl set or whatever. It's just sitting there and I really need help." I could not believe what I was hearing. "The jewelry you stole from me?" "That jewelry? I didn't steal it, we were supposed to share it. And I only sold a few pieces that you weren't using. But you still have plenty left and I'm asking for help as your sister." "How much did you get for mom's necklace?" She was quiet. "How much?" $200. But that's not the point. Mom's sapphire necklace was worth at least $1,500. She sold it for $200 because she needed quick cash and didn't care. "I'm not helping you," I said. "You're really going to let me get evicted? You made your choices." She started crying, saying I'm cruel and heartless and she's drowning and I have the means to help her but I'm choosing not to. She said her fiancé's family is already judgmental about her and if they find out she can't pay rent they'll call off the wedding. "Then maybe you shouldn't have spent money on a Vegas bachelorette party." That was months ago. This is different. It's really not. She called me a bitch and hung up. The next day she texted me, "Please. I'm begging you. Just pawn something and I'll pay you back." I went to my bedroom and took a picture of mom's jewelry box. It was empty except for the velvet lining. I'd moved everything that was left to a safety deposit box at my bank the same day I filed the police report. I sent her the photo with the text, "Already pawned it all. Sorry." Then I sent her a screenshot of her contact name with the block button highlighted. Then I blocked her. Our aunt called me later asking what happened and I explained everything. She sighed really hard and said your sister is asking family members for money now and telling them you refuse to help her. I told our aunt the whole story, including the part where my sister wanted me to pawn what was left of mom's jewelry after she already stole and sold most of it. My aunt said she's not giving my sister any money either. My sister's fiancé called me from his phone, which I didn't have blocked. He said my sister is having panic attacks and I need to apologize and help her because family helps family. I told him his fiancé is a thief who sold our dead mother's jewelry for Vegas party money and if he wants to marry someone like that, he should probably know what he's getting into. He called me a vindictive asshole and hung up. I don't feel bad about the block or the empty jewelry box picture. But my sister apparently had to borrow money from her fiancé's parents and now his mom hates her and keeps making comments about financial irresponsibility. And the wedding might actually get called off because his family doesn't trust her anymore. Part of me feels like maybe I should have just helped her this one time to keep the peace. The jewelry is gone either way and at least I'd still have a relationship with my sister. But another part of me thinks she deserved exactly what she got. Am I a butthole? My sister showed up at my work yesterday and security had to escort her out while she screamed that I'm the reason she's homeless. She wasn't actually homeless. She moved in with her fiancé's parents after they couldn't make rent, and apparently his mother has been making her life hell ever since. My coworker texted me that someone was in the lobby asking for me, and when I went down there my sister was pacing back and forth wearing the same clothes I saw her in on Instagram 3 days ago. "We need to talk," she said when she saw me. "No, we don't. You ruined my life over some jewelry." I turned to walk away and she grabbed my arm hard enough that I knew it would bruise. The security guard stepped forward but I held up my hand. "You stole from me," I said. "You sold Mom's things for party money and then asked me to pawn what you didn't steal so you could pay your bills." "That's not my problem. His parents think I'm trash," she said, and her voice cracked. "His mom goes through my stuff. She makes comments about everything I do. She told him he's making a mistake marrying me. Then maybe you shouldn't have put yourself in a position where you needed their help. I'm your sister. You were my sister when you took Mom's jewelry box out of my apartment without asking." She started crying in the middle of the lobby. Actual tears running down her face while people walked past us staring. "I made a mistake. I'm sorry. I'll do anything to fix this. Give me back what you sold." "I can't. The money's gone and I don't even know who has the jewelry now." "Then there's nothing to fix." The security guard asked if everything was okay and my sister lost it. She started yelling that I'm vindictive and cruel and that I'm choosing dead jewelry over my living sister. She said Mom would hate who I've become. She called me a cold bitch who cares more about things than people. I walked away while she was still screaming. Went back upstairs and my hands were shaking so bad I had to sit in the bathroom for 20 minutes. My boss called me into her office an hour later. Apparently my sister tried to get back into the building and told the front desk that I stole money from her and she needed to report me. Security finally threatened to call the cops and she left. I went home that night and my aunt was sitting in her car outside my apartment building. She got out when she saw me and she looked exhausted. "Your sister called me 17 times today," she said. "I'm sorry." "Don't be sorry. I need to tell you something." She handed me an envelope. "This is from your mother's estate. I was the executor and there were some things I didn't give you girls right away because I wanted you to have time to grieve first." Inside was a letter Mom wrote before she died and a copy of her will with specific highlighted sections. The letter said she wanted me to have the jewelry box and everything in it because she knew I would take care of it and appreciate what it meant. My sister got the expensive pieces Mom was already planning to give her, but the everyday collection was supposed to be mine. All of it. "She told me when she was sick that she worried about your sister's spending habits," my aunt said. "She made me promise to make sure you got the jewelry box and not to let your sister pressure you into sharing it." I read the letter 3 times standing on the sidewalk. Mom's handwriting got shaky toward the end but the message was clear. She'd left specific instructions that my sister had already received her inheritance and the remaining jewelry belonged to me alone. "Why didn't you tell me this before?" "Because I thought your sister would respect what little you had left." I was wrong. My aunt left and I went inside and sat on my couch staring at Mom's letter until it got dark. Then I took pictures of everything and sent it to my sister with the message, "Mom left the jewelry box to me. Only me. You stole my inheritance, not shared property. This is the last time I'm contacting you." She didn't respond for 3 hours. Then, "I didn't know. You didn't ask. Please don't do this. I'll lose everything." "You already did." She called me 16 times that night. I didn't answer any of them. Then her fiancé called and said my sister had a breakdown after reading the letter and could I please just talk to her because she's not eating and she's making herself sick. "That's not my responsibility," I said. "She's your family. Family doesn't steal from each other." He said some nasty things about me being heartless and holding grudges and how I'm just like my father who abandoned us. Then he said their wedding is probably off because his parents found out about the jewelry situation and his mother called my sister a thief to her face. Good, I thought, but I didn't say it out loud. I just hung up. The next day my sister's best friend, the one who posted the picture wearing Mom's necklace, showed up at my apartment. She had the necklace with her. "She sold this to me for $200, her friend said. I didn't know the whole story. I thought it was just costume jewelry she didn't want anymore. When I found out what really happened I felt sick. She handed me the necklace and wouldn't take any money for it. Said she felt terrible for being part of what my sister did and she's not talking to her anymore either. I've gotten the necklace back and blocked my sister everywhere including her fiancé's number. My aunt says my sister is telling everyone I forged Mom's letter and I'm lying about the will. But my aunt has the original documents and she's told the whole family what really happened. Half of them have stopped talking to my sister. The other half think I should forgive her because she's struggling and people make mistakes. But here's what I keep thinking about, she didn't just take the jewelry. She went into my home while I trusted her with my key and she took the last physical pieces I had of our mother and sold them to strangers for drinking money in Vegas. And then when she needed help she asked me to do the same thing to what little was left. My sister's engagement is over. Her fiancé's family told him he dodged a bullet and apparently he agreed because he ended things last week. She's living with our aunt now because she has nowhere else to go and our aunt is the only person who will still help her. But she's not getting my forgiveness and she's not getting back into my life. I don't think I'm the asshole, but my mom's voice in my head keeps asking if I'm being too harsh. So I guess I'm still wondering. My sister filed a police report against me claiming I forged mom's will and stole her inheritance. 2 cops showed up at my apartment on a Tuesday morning while I was getting ready for work. They asked if I was willing to come down to the station to answer some questions about a disputed estate and stolen property. I called my aunt immediately and she met me there with copies of all the original documents. The officers looked over everything while my sister sat across from me in the interview room crying. She'd brought her own copies of things, but they were just photos of the jewelry she'd gotten, the stuff mom specifically left her in the will. She kept saying I manipulated mom when she was dying and convinced her to change everything. These are the original documents, my aunt told the officers. Notarized and filed with the court 2 years ago when my sister passed. Nothing has been changed or forged. One of the officers asked my sister if she had any proof the will was altered. She said mom would never have left her with nothing and given me everything. The officer pointed out that according to the will she'd received several valuable pieces worth thousands of dollars. But she got the whole collection, my sister said. That's not fair. Fair isn't the same as illegal, the officer said. They let me go after 30 minutes. Told my sister that estate disputes are civil matters and she needed to stop filing false police reports or she'd be charged with misuse of emergency services. She started screaming that I'm getting away with theft and they're not doing their jobs. I left with my aunt and sat in her car in the parking lot trying to process what just happened. My sister had actually tried to get me arrested over jewelry she stole from me. She's staying with me, but I think I need to ask her to leave, my aunt said. This has gone too far. Where will she go? That's not your problem anymore. My aunt drove me back to my apartment and I called in sick to work because my hands wouldn't stop shaking. I'd never been in a police station before. Never been accused of a crime. And my own sister had put me there. She texted me that afternoon, "You're really going to let them throw me out on the street?" I didn't respond. Blocked that number too. Then her friend, the one who returned mom's necklace, called me. Said my sister had been posting on social media that I'm a liar and a thief and she's getting lawyers involved. The post had dozens of comments from people who didn't know the real story, taking my sister's side and calling me terrible things. I commented the truth, her friend said. That she sold your mom's jewelry and asked you to pawn more to pay her rent. But she deleted my comment and blocked me. Let her post whatever she wants. People are believing her though. People who matter know the truth. But it got to me anyway. I made the mistake of looking at her social media through a mutual friend's account and saw everything she'd written. How I turned the family against her over a misunderstanding. How I'm vindictive and cruel and destroyed her life because she made one mistake. How mom would be ashamed of the person I've become. The comments were worse. Strangers calling me evil, saying I deserve to rot in hell, telling my sister to sue me for everything I have. Someone even found my work email and sent me a message saying they hope I die alone and miserable. I reported the harassment to the platform, but they said the post didn't violate their terms of service. So I just stopped looking. My aunt called 3 days later and said my sister moved out in the middle of the night and didn't say where she was going. Took some of our aunt's jewelry with her, cheap stuff but still. Our aunt found out when she went to get ready for church and her jewelry box was half empty. I'm done, my aunt said. I tried to help her, but she steals from everyone. I felt sick. Not because I felt bad for my sister, but because I realized she was never going to stop. She was going to keep stealing and lying and blaming other people for the consequences of her own choices. A week went by and I didn't hear anything. Then I got a call from a number I didn't recognize. It was my sister's ex-fiancé. Your sister is living in her car, he said. Okay. She's parked outside my parents' house. She's been here for 3 days and my mom is freaking out. Call the police if she won't leave. She says you owe her money. That you sold her half of the jewelry and kept the cash. That's a lie. I know. I believe you. But she's telling everyone that story and some people are listening. My cousin sent her $200 through Venmo. I hung up. I was done being responsible for what my sister told people. If strangers wanted to give her money based on lies, that was their choice. But then my boss called me into her office. Someone had contacted our company's HR department claiming I'd stolen from a family member and they wanted to make sure the company knew they employed a thief. HR investigated. I showed them all the documentation, including the police report I'd filed and the report my sister filed that got dismissed, and they cleared me completely. But my boss said I needed to get this under control because it was affecting my professional reputation. She wasn't trying to be mean about it. She was genuinely concerned. But the fact that my sister's lies had reached my workplace made me realize how far she was willing to go. I called the lawyer that afternoon. Explained everything and asked what my options were. He said I could pursue a civil suit for the value of the stolen jewelry, I could get a restraining order if the harassment continued, or I could send a cease and desist letter demanding she stop making false statements about me. I chose all three. The lawyer filed everything within a week. My sister got served with papers at the grocery store where she'd apparently gotten a job. She called me from yet another new number screaming that I'm suing my own sister and trying to destroy what little she has left. You destroyed it yourself, I said, and hung up. The restraining order got approved temporarily pending a full hearing. My sister violated it 2 days later by showing up at my apartment building. The police arrested her and she spent the night in jail. Our aunt bailed her out but told her she's on her own now. No more help, no more chances. My sister sent me one last message before the restraining order went permanent: I hope you're happy. You've taken everything from me. But that's the thing. I didn't take anything. She gave it all away herself when she decided stealing from me was easier than making better choices. And now she's facing what happens when you burn every bridge and blame everyone else for the fire. The civil suit is moving forward. My lawyer says we have a strong case. And honestly, I don't even care about the money anymore. I just want her to face real consequences for once in her life instead of crying her way out of them. I still have Mom's letter. I read it sometimes when I'm doubting myself. And Mom's voice in my head isn't asking if I'm being too harsh anymore. It's telling me I did the right thing protecting what she left me. The civil suit hearing was supposed to be routine, but my sister brought a binder full of printed social media posts claiming they proved I'd been planning to steal from her for years. Her lawyer was some guy she found online who works out of a strip mall office. He kept mispronouncing the judge's name and tried to submit the social media binder as evidence even though half of it was just screenshots of her own posts about how terrible I am. My lawyer barely had to do anything. Just presented Mom's will, the documentation from when my sister took the jewelry, and the police report I filed. The judge asked my sister directly if she had permission to take the jewelry from my apartment. We were supposed to share it, she said. That's not what I asked. Did you have explicit permission to remove items from your sister's residence? She had my key. She trusted me. Again, that's not an answer to my question. Her lawyer tried to argue that the will was ambiguous about the everyday jewelry collection and my sister had a reasonable belief she was entitled to have. The judge read the highlighted section of Mom's letter out loud in the courtroom. The part where Mom specifically said the jewelry box and its contents belonged to me alone. This seems pretty clear, the judge said. My sister started crying. Said Mom wrote that letter when she was on pain medication and wasn't thinking straight. Said I'd isolated Mom during her final weeks and manipulated her into changing her wishes. Do you have any evidence of this manipulation? The judge asked. She got everything and I got nothing. According to the will, you received several valuable pieces of jewelry including diamond earrings, a gold bracelet, and your mother's wedding ring. Is that correct? Yes, but. Then you didn't receive nothing. The judge ruled in my favor. Ordered my sister to pay restitution for the value of the stolen items plus my legal fees. The total came out to almost $9,000. My sister's lawyer tried to argue she didn't have that kind of money and the judge said she could set up a payment plan but the debt wasn't going away. My sister looked at me across the courtroom and mouthed something I couldn't quite make out. Her face was red and blotchy from crying and for just a second I felt sorry for her. Then I remembered her screaming at me in my office lobby and the feeling disappeared. We left through different exits. My lawyer said it was a clean win and I should feel good about it, but I just felt tired. I'd won and it didn't change anything. Mom was still dead, the jewelry was still mostly gone, and my sister still hated me. I went home and tried to work but couldn't focus. Kept checking my phone expecting angry messages but there was nothing. The silence felt worse somehow. Then my aunt called. Your sister's lawyer contacted me, she said. He wants me to testify that your mother was mentally incompetent when she wrote that letter. What did you tell him? I told him to go to hell. Your mother was completely lucid right up until the end. She knew exactly what she was doing and why. Thank you. But there's something else. Your sister's been talking to your father. I hadn't spoken to my father in over a decade. He left when I was 15 and my sister was 12, moved 3 states away and started a whole new family. Sent birthday cards sometimes but that was it. I didn't even know my sister was still in contact with him. She's telling him you've been stealing from her and turning the family against her. He called me last night asking what's going on. What did you say? The truth. But he didn't want to hear it. He thinks you're being cruel to your little sister over money. Of course he did. He didn't know either of us anymore but he'd always had a soft spot for my sister. She was his baby, the one who cried when he left. I was the one who told him good riddance. I don't care what he thinks. He's talking about coming here. Says he needs to mediate this situation before it gets any worse. My chest got tight. It's none of his business. I know. I told him that. But your sister's feeding him a very different version of events and he's buying it. I hung up and sat on my couch staring at nothing. My father showing up would make everything so much worse. He'd take my sister's side because he always took her side, because she'd learned young how to cry her way into getting what she wanted and I'd learned young that crying didn't fix anything. The next day I got an email from an address I didn't recognize. The subject line said disappointed. I almost deleted it but something made me open it. It was from my father. Long rambling paragraphs about family and forgiveness and how I was destroying my sister over material possessions that didn't matter. He said Mom would be heartbroken to see what I'd become. Said I was just like him, cold and selfish and incapable of putting family first. I read it 3 times and then closed my laptop. That night my sister posted on social media that she was moving out of state to start fresh somewhere. People didn't know what I'd done to her. The post had hundreds of sympathetic comments. People offering her places to stay, donations, job leads. She was setting up a whole new life based on lies about me. Part of me wanted to comment the truth. Post the court documents, Mom's letter, everything. Prove to all those strangers that they were supporting someone who'd stolen from her own dying mother's intended legacy and then try to get her sister arrested when she got caught. But I didn't. Because it wouldn't matter. People believe what they want to believe, and my sister had always been good at performing victimhood. My lawyer called the next morning. Said my sister's lawyer filed an appeal claiming the judge didn't properly consider her financial hardship when setting the restitution amount. It's a stalling tactic, he said. It won't work, but it'll drag things out another few months. How much will that cost me? I'll handle it. This is covered under our existing agreement. I thanked him and hung up and realized my hands were shaking again. This was never going to end. My sister was going to keep fighting and lying and playing victim until one of us was completely destroyed. And I was starting to think she didn't care which one of us it was. My sister's appeal got denied and she disappeared for 6 weeks before anyone found out where she went. She'd moved 4 states away to live with our father and his new family. I only found out because his wife called my aunt asking why we hadn't told them my sister was pregnant. My aunt called me immediately. Did you know about this? About what? Your sister's claiming she's pregnant and can't work and needs help with medical bills. I sat down on my kitchen floor. She's lying. How do you know? Because that's what she does. She lies until someone gives her money. But it turned out she wasn't lying about being pregnant. My aunt did some digging through social media and found posts from 2 months ago about my sister dating someone new. The guy was in some of the photos, but his face was always cropped out or blurred. Then he disappeared from her posts completely right around the time she moved. Our father's wife kept calling my aunt with updates nobody asked for. My sister was having terrible morning sickness. She needed money for prenatal vitamins. The father wasn't involved and my sister was devastated and traumatized and needed family support. She's working them, I told my aunt. Same thing she did to you. I know. But what can I do? She's living there now and they believe everything she tells them. The restitution payments were supposed to start that month but nothing came through. My lawyer sent multiple notices to the address on file but they all came back undeliverable. My sister had moved without updating her information with the court, which violated the terms of the judgment. My lawyer filed a motion for contempt. The court issued a bench warrant when my sister didn't show up for the hearing. She was officially a fugitive over $9,000 and change. I thought that would be the end of it. She'd stay wherever she was hiding and I'd never see the money, but at least I'd never see her either. Then our father called me for the first time in 11 years. You need to drop this court case, he said. No hello, no how are you? No. She's pregnant and stressed and you're making everything worse. This isn't good for the baby. She stole from me. The court agreed. She owes me money. It's just money. She's your sister and she needs help right now, not harassment. Then you pay her debt. He was quiet for a long moment. I don't have that kind of money. Neither did she. That's why she stole Mom's jewelry and sold it. Your mother would want you to forgive her. Something snapped in me. You don't get to tell me what Mom would want. You weren't there when she was dying. You weren't there for any of it. You left and started over and now you think you can call me after 11 years and lecture me about family? I'm trying to help your sister. You're enabling her. Just like you always did. And when she steals from you too, don't call me about it. I hung up. My hands were shaking but I felt clearer than I had in months. 3 weeks later my aunt forwarded me a message our father's wife had sent her. My sister had taken jewelry from their home and pawned it. Not expensive stuff but sentimental things that belonged to our father's wife's grandmother. When confronted, my sister said she needed money for baby supplies and they weren't helping her enough. Our father kicked her out. Told her she had 24 hours to pack her things and leave. I don't know where she went after that. Our aunt said she heard through someone that my sister was staying in a women's shelter 2 towns over from where our father lives. Someone else said they saw her posting in local groups asking for donations and baby supplies. I stopped checking. Stopped asking. Stopped caring what happened to her next. The court case is still open but my lawyer said we'll probably never see the money. My sister has no assets, no stable address, and now a baby on the way. Even if we found her and dragged her back to court, you can't get blood from a stone. We can keep the judgment active, my lawyer said. If she ever gets a job or assets, we can garnish wages or put a lien on property. But that could be years from now. I told him to keep it active. Not because I think I'll ever see a dime but because I want it on record forever that she did this. That she stole and lied and destroyed relationships and there were actual legal consequences even if she never pays them. Mom's jewelry box sits on my dresser now. I got back the sapphire necklace and the pearl set. Everything else is gone forever, sold to strangers or locked in pawn shops in cities I've never been to. Sometimes I open the box and look at what's left and I feel the weight of everything that happened. My sister made her choices. She chose to steal from me when I trusted her with my key. She chose to lie about it and try to manipulate everyone into taking her side. She chose to file false police reports and drag me through court and harass my workplace. She chose to run instead of taking responsibility. And now she's pregnant and homeless and burning bridges with the only family members who might have helped her. Our father won't speak to her. Our aunt blocked her number. The friends who posted supportive comments on social media have all gone quiet. I didn't destroy my sister's life. She did that herself, one bad choice at a time, always thinking she could cry or lie her way out of the consequences. I think about Mom's letter sometimes. The one where she said she worried about my sister's spending habits and wanted to make sure I got the jewelry because she knew I'd take care of it. Mom saw this coming years before it happened. She knew exactly who my sister was and she tried to protect what mattered. And I did protect it. Not all of it, but enough. The pieces I have left mean more to me now than they ever did before because I fought for them. Because I didn't let my sister's tears and lies make me question what I knew was right. I don't feel guilty anymore. I don't wonder if I should have helped her or forgiven her or just let it all go to keep the peace. There was never going to be peace with someone like my sister. There was only going to be more stealing and more lying until there was nothing left to take. She's out there somewhere telling people I'm the villain in her story. And maybe some of them believe her. But everyone who actually knows the truth knows exactly who she is and what she did. That's consequence enough for me.